You guys want to make sure that you're here.
Got Luke Backman joining me here, the Backman family behind us as we head to the top of the 8th. Cleburne a 5-3 lead. Theo McDowell's coming in. That's not important. Let's talk about what is. We're going to take a trip down memory lane with Luke this half inning. Luke's been with us 2 seasons now. He's about to head back to Syracuse for his senior campaign, but before he goes, just some messages and some things to say along the way is the first pitch to Theo McDowell, or from Theo McDowell to Nick Shumpert outside for ball 1. 2 years under your belt now. I want current Luke Backman to give early on Luke Backman some advice. Take yourself back to the first time you were in the seat last year to how you progress now as the pitch upstairs to Shumpert, and just talk about that maturation process as a broadcaster.
If I could go back and tell Luke, who sat in the seat last year, I'd say just breathe. You want to, first time out here, that one's going to be inside for ball 4 and a walk. When you first get on the mic, you're thinking everything's going so fast. You got to, this happens. If you just breathe and let the game come to you, just talk at a normal pace. You don't have to speed everything up. I think that would be the biggest thing for me last year. And just pick and choose your spots. Last year doing color, it's like, can I talk here? Can I talk here? Make it a conversation between me and you. I was doing it with Seth last year, Seth Dowdle, and that was a great time. Just make it conversational. You want to have your listeners watching and to enjoy it.
Shumpert on the move again. He's going to steal another. Oh, they got him. Oh, my goodness. Nick Shumpert looking around like, are you kidding me? As Jarrell Proctor rings him up. Bobby Post coming out. He's got his hands out like, how in the world do you have him out there? Bobby Post letting Jarrell Proctor have it. I think if you can read lips, you heard what he said there. And Post is still leaning into him as Shumpert retired, caught stealing on the 2-4 put out for out number 1. Back with Luke Backman here again in the booth. I have always talked about, and I said this back when Seth Dowdle was here last year, and it's you and Seth, and then now transitioning to you and Armando here in 2024. Swing and a miss there. It's very important for me in my role to give you everything I've got. And what I mean by giving you everything that I've got is I can't always tell you what you want to hear, because if I tell you what you want to hear, you're not going to get better. I can't always be hard on you at times, because then that doesn't allow you room for growth. I have to accentuate your positives when you do things and learn from previous mistakes. So in my role as a teacher, it's as much an evolving role as yours is as a student, as the pitch inside here. Our craft is never perfect. We always want to get 1% better every day, and that's why I love my relationships with the Dan Vaughns, with the Jack Michaels, with all the guys. There's a 2-2 foul tip. All the guys that you have gotten to build relationships that have come in and out of that booth over the course of your time here. For every visiting AA broadcaster that you've come across, who do you feel like's the one that had the biggest impact on you and what you've learned from them?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have to go Jack Michaels. I mean, the way he lights up a room when he walks in, it feels like, hey, guys, it feels like he's a regular. I remember last year's, that one swung on and missed, or I'd say it goes for a strikeout from Theo McDowell. I remember last year, he captivated the press box and did again this year just with his name game, with his questions. Yeah. Everyone was like, oh, wait, this is their last game of the series?
Yeah.
Everyone was disappointed.
He was seeing him go.
Exactly. And like when we saw him on the schedule this year, it's like, okay, cool, he's coming. So just being that person that kind of can talk to everybody, because that's how you, like you said, build relationships, work the room. I mean, that's not even talking about just his broadcasting style, just when you walk in a room, having everybody like tune in, like this is a good guy, and I think that, especially in this building, that goes a long way as well as being a good broadcaster.
Daniel Lingua at the plate takes one inside from Theo McDowell. The count even as we continue to visit with Luke Backman, who's headed back to Syracuse for his senior year. Coming into this season, taking what you learned in year one and knowing that your role would expand here in year two, what were a couple of personal goals of yours? What's something you wanted to improve on? What's something you wanted to expand on? Talk about what your intent was coming into the season.
Coming into the season, with last season, that one's drilled foul. I wanted to make sure I had suitable clips for real. Like last year, I was not brand new to baseball, but that was some of my first time, and I felt like, okay, I was getting my feet wet. This year, I wanted to just establish myself. Like, this is obviously the profession I want to continue doing. Make sure I have professional calls. Go at it every day professionally, whether it's doing stat packs with Armando, doing game notes with you and Armando. Make sure you do that. And then, like I said, just have conversations on the air. Make sure it's enjoyable for the listener to watch these games. That's going to be a strikeout for Theo McDowell.
2-2, swung on a miss. We're going to keep it right here during the break. Alex Reams, our TD. Keep us right here in the booth as we continue our conversation here between the half inning with Luke Backman. Now you've got 2 full years under your belt, right? And obviously in that time with as many reps, you gained a lot of confidence. You build on what you've learned from day to day to day. What will you take away from this year? It's Dan Vaughn letting us know next door what he thinks about the whole. Oh,
he was ejected while you were looking at me.
Oh, Bobby Post was thrown out, and he is leaning into. My goodness, down the field, you get a shot there. Post. Now he's leaning into Clay Park, letting him hear about it. So back in here, back to the conversation that matters. More on that later. Now that you have year number 2 under your belt, and you have a lot more confidence, you have a lot more reps, you gain a lot more experience. Is this profession as meaningful to you today as it was when you started here 2 years ago?
Oh, my goodness. It's like 2 years ago, I learned it takes a lot to go on an air every night. Last year, I wasn't doing game notes. It was you and Seth. This year, being involved in doing the game notes, just doing the stat packs every day, it's like it takes a lot to get on this air every day. It's not just, oh, I'm going to talk and call this game. I mean, you would think, people probably think anybody can do it. Just get on a microphone and talk.
Turn it on and start talking.
I can promise you that is not the case.
Yeah.
And just getting over, I mean, if you're first time last year, just the fears, oh, when do I talk? Now it's like, okay, it's baseball.
Yeah.
I've watched baseball, played baseball, now called baseball. It feels like my entire life. Just have a conversation. It's like I always tell people, just call it like you're at a lunch table with your friends talking about the game. Oh, what a home run, a home run. And then you add that professional element to it. I mean, I just feel like the amount of respect I have for you, for every broadcaster, has gone through the roof these last 2 years.
Zach Williman back out here for the bottom of the 8th. Now, there's a reason I have your parents behind you. They're your support system, right? Talk about their influence on you, their support for you in choosing this role in this walk of life. And give me, as you approach your senior year at Syracuse, if you have a 5-year plan, where do you want to be 5 years from now?
First, with my parents, they're everything. They're my biggest supporters, and they're also probably my biggest critiques, and that's how I want it to be.
Are they tough on you?
Oh, they're definitely tough.
They are?
Like,
good.
Oh, look, you said they're definitely give me critiques, and I love it. That's how it should be. But at the end of the day, I know they're my number one supporter. Luke, you did a great job tonight. I'll get text while I'm on the air. I love that call. Great job. So they continue to push me. Like, hey, Luke, what about this? They continue. I can't say enough about them. They're amazing, and I'm glad they're back here. It's been incredible having them by my side. 5 years. So obviously, I'll finish off my year at Syracuse now. This upcoming year.
You coming for my job, Evan?
No, Brad. That's you are the voice. And my mind. That one's upstairs. Excuse me. Walk to Brett Boswell. You're the face of the Cleburne Railroaders. You are not enough I could say. So thank you so much. But for 5 years, finish school, just kind of find a job there. I mean, I know in this industry, it's a lot of times when you first start off, you go to a small market, just somewhere. Yep, and I'm here for the journey. That's one thing I've learned through my professors, through everyone I've talked to. It's a journey to get where you eventually want to go, and I'm enjoying this journey. I mean, going to Cleburne, being in Cleburne, I live in Fort Worth. I feel so blessed because a lot of kids my age, they have to move somewhere for the summer
Sure.
and go to to get these opportunities. I have to drive 25 minutes. It's been a great time out here.
Well, I promised a trip down memory lane, and we're going to take it right here to count 2-0 to Blake Grant Parks. I want to take you back to, I believe, now in my old age, sometimes I get my dates a little mixed up. I believe it was a year ago last January where you and I spoke for the first time, and we had our impromptu interview. And if you remember back to that day, I specifically asked you, I said, I want to hear an inning. You go pick a video game, you pick a YouTube clip, you pick anything. And I want you to call an inning, and I want you to send it to me. I'm not going to play that on the air.
Wow.
I'm not going to play that on the air.
Thank you.
Okay? But I know that you remember that submission.
Yeah.
Now, Luke Backman, 2 years later, listening back to Luke Backman as a true rookie back then, grade that performance.
Oh, my goodness. I know exactly because I picked an inning. I'm a Yankee fan. That first pitch is high for ball one. I picked a Yankee versus Orioles game. Aaron Judge hit it might have been a 2-run home run, maybe 3-run.
It was a 3-run. It was a 3-run.
I remember exactly. That one's in there for strike one. Oh, my goodness. I probably did it in maybe 6 or 7 takes. I had to keep going back because I kept saying I was trying to fit too much into the time. I'd grade it maybe, man, probably like a C to a C plus. Looking back, I was trying to. I was talking so fast.
You were talking a million miles an hour, which everyone often does. Is this one over to second? Linguist got it. He'll fire over to first to retire Grant Parks 4-3 for out number 1 as Boswell will advance to second. Now, you've obviously come a long way since then. This year, have you had moments, and you've had a few where you've been on some really important calls. As you go back and listen, do you have moments this year where you feel like, I nailed that call? Like you feel good about the call that you made?
It's been really cool to see. There's been times where the American Association has put big times in games. They tweet out the clip, and it's my voice. And I'm like,
how's that make you feel?
Oh my goodness! It's like I'll sit there and watch it like 3-4 times. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
You retweet it, and it's like, okay, this one was a good one. And I talked about the Gus Sosa play-by-play home run, the first one I had this season. Like, I think that one was posted. I was like, okay, I see. And now, like, it's crazy to see the improvement just in these big-time moments. It's like, okay, I'm learning to breathe. I'm learning to, just let the viewer enjoy it. It's not always about me. If it hits a long home run, let the crowd tell a little bit of the story. Just all these different things. So it's so fun to listen now. And I know I'm not even close to perfect. And as a broadcaster, you most likely are never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But
1% better every day.
Exactly.
You've heard me tell you that so many times.
Absolutely. And just seeing the improvement from, oh my gosh, thinking about that Judge home run that I called. Oh my goodness. It's been so fun to listen to myself in here.
All right, so now my next question for you, not question, but the next thing that we need to cover is for the past 2 seasons, it's been me critiquing you. It's been me at every turn telling you what you've done right, telling you what you've done wrong, telling you what you should do more of, telling you what you should do less of. I've always been there to give you feedback at every step along the way. Now it's your opportunity to give me feedback.
Oh, come on.
As the teacher. Critique me. Tell me what you will take away from here that you have learned from me, that you won't forget, and then I want you to really critique me and tell me something that from afar you think that I could get 1% better and do better.
Okay. So the first one, I think we started this later on this season, but you're like, find a stat and bring it on the air, because not only is it you talk about one thing and it's gone, it's going to spark a conversation. And I think that's a huge point. You have your talking points, and you bring those into ball games, and you're like, okay, talk about this. This will lead to different stuff, because say if we talked about walks and home runs, it happens today, and we continue to talk about that. So I think just bringing talking points into it and having statistics for the viewers at home who are really into those type of things. Not everyone's a statistic person, but you can make it where Armando, his first one, was the Thomas Dillard walk, how much he walked, and just things like that. Like, you make it more enjoyable for a viewer. Wow, critique you, Brad. Honestly, I'm not sure.
Now come on,
wow.
got it. We're not letting you out of here without you coming up with something. There's plenty of things. Let me give you the beach ball layups. I've been called a homer before, and I'll admit that I am. I bleed Cleburne Railroaders. You hear everybody talk about it. We are the greatest team in the American Association. You hear that, American Association? The greatest team in the American Association is right here along the Darren Field. Now that we've got that covered.
Right.
I've been called a homer. I've been called a broadcaster that can give knee-jerk reactions. I wear my emotions on my sleeves during games, whether it's good or bad. There's some that would tell you don't be that way. Now, I'm going to tell you that you are never going to get heard. You're never going to get taken seriously until you are willing to expose your true self on the air. Don't be the cookie-cutter, generic, robotic broadcaster that needs to raise the pitch in his voice on a 3-2 pitch and then be calm when it's 1-1. You need to be the guy that shows you, because that's what's going to get you places, is the pitch outside to Corey Holland. So be you. Be your true, authentic self. You have now completed the part of your journey that every broadcaster dreads when they look back. Now, in the real time, it's fun for you, right? Now, you build the relationships, you put in the long hours here. For folks that don't know, Luke did that for the past 2 years for $0. Nothing. Didn't get a dime. But here's what he did get. He got time and a seat in a professional baseball broadcast that thousands of broadcasters would have cut his throat to get. He got that. He showed his appreciation for his opportunity through his passion, through his work ethic, and through his general excitement for being a part of this organization. And that is going to carry him to success 10 years from now. We'll be looking back at this 10 years from right now when Luke Backman is in a seat much larger than mine, and we can appreciate this part of the early part of his journey. So as Corey Holland walks, I want you to know and take away that what you've done the past 2 years, while that might seem as trivial to you as putting game notes together or putting a stat pack together, as you see here, that might seem as trivial to some as, just printing off pieces of paper. No, it's learning the craft of this seat, learning the responsibility of, it's not about just coming and picking up a headset, turning it on, hit the power button, and start talking. It's about what you do the 3 to 4 hours before, to where you know so much of this without having to pick this up. That's the difference between a great broadcaster and an average broadcaster. It's that one under the glove of John Nagowski, coming in and scoring from second base is Jesus Lajano. Shed Long does it again. How many hits is this guy going to have in this series?
It's ridiculous. He just continues to rake at the plate. Another one, drives in 2 RBIs. You said it perfectly. If he's not hitter of the week, I don't know.
Don't stop giving the award away. If you're not giving it to Shed Long tomorrow, stop giving it away. It's become a joke if he doesn't win it. Final question for you tonight. There's no guarantees in this profession. Is the runner on the move? Shed Long, boy, got thrown out there. Good throw. Really good throw from Ortega. Is Long dead to rights out at second. There's no guarantees in this game. There's no guarantee. I would like to think I'll be back in this seat next year. Can I emphatically say right now that I am? No, because you just don't know. What if, I tease our general manager, Chris Jones, all the time. What if Joe Buck comes in tomorrow and decides he wants to relocate to Johnson County? Guess what? Brad Alldred's out of a job. It is what it is, right? So you never have guarantees. Can we guarantee one another that we're going to share a booth again? No, we can't make that guarantee tonight. I hope we do. Can we make that guarantee? No, we can't. So knowing that there are no guarantees, if let's say you get an opportunity tomorrow to call Syracuse basketball. They want you to be the play-by-play guy for Syracuse basketball. and it ends your baseball side of things. Because, again, broadcasting is a crazy game.
Mm-hmm.
Can take you a lot of places. To be well-versed, you got to be able to do multiple sports. Is this one. Grounded back up the middle by Hill Alexander. That's an RBI that will score Corey Holland. Cleburne has opened it up here in the bottom of the 8th. If this was the last baseball broadcast for you ever, what do you take away? What do you take away from this experience?
Man, baseball was first sport I really played. I played it, and then I kind of fell out of love with it for a minute, and I kind of joined basketball as my main sport. And coming back to it, I always wonder, could I really do 3 hours a night calling a game? Not mentioning the prep beforehand. Wow, do I love the sport of baseball. This has been every night, and you literally see something new at the ballpark every single night. Yeah. It's been incredible, the highs, the lows, the comebacks, the blowouts. There's nothing like this.
The 20-6 losses.
Exactly, and I think one of the things, or I mean the 25 to whatever.
3 wins.
Right, the 15, 20 walks you see in a game. That one's going to drop in there.
Already.
I mean, I love this sport. It's been incredible. I never knew. Could I actually sit there and, call a game for 3 hours? And I can do 6 hours if you want it. It's been incredible with you by my side, Armando as well this season. It's been so fun. I enjoy coming to the ballpark, and that's the best part of it. I mean, coming in, doing the prep, doing everything. I genuinely enjoy this, and I want to thank both of you for really making that the case this year.
All right, well, now it's time for your final grade. Final grade here as Thomas Dillard swings and misses. I wanted your parents up here for this. I want to tell you I've had you for 2 seasons. I've experienced everything with you in your maturation process as an early broadcaster to see you grow and get more comfortable in that seat. There's never an A+ ever. Because if there's an A+, that means you perfected this craft. And outside of Vince Scully, I don't know that there's anyone that ever has. Okay? But I am going to give you an A. I am going to give you an A. And I've seen a lot of people come into this seat. I've shared seats with people. I've had opportunities with various colleagues throughout my craft. So I feel like I have a pretty good thumb on the pulse of what it takes to succeed here. Your work ethic, your enthusiasm, your commitment to this game is going to take you a long way in a lot of places. As this one gets away, they'll throw down to first to complete the strikeout. We'll leave it right here before we go to the 9th. I'm going to give you an A, and this is what I'm going to challenge you with. All gas, no brakes. In every one of those areas that I just talked about. You go all gas, no brakes. You don't stop. You don't ever take no for an answer. And no matter what booth you're in, you treat that booth like it's the New York Yankees, right? You treat that team that you're with like they're the biggest show on the planet. If you do that, you're going to continue to take those steps. And then like 10 years from now, we're going to be watching you on Sports Center. So, Mom and Dad, I tip my cap to you. Fantastic job with this young man. Dad rocking the Syracuse back there. You're going to do big things, Luke Backman. Go talk to the world, my friend.
Thank you so much, Brad.
Back on AA Baseball TV after the break. Rotors ahead here at La Moderna.